my great, but my grandparents traveled to Panama in and around when the canal was being built,
Okay.
in search from Barbados in
Mhm.
search for an opportunity
Right.
because of labor and everything else. My grandfather was a carpenter, and he was very young. And went to Panama for an opportunity from Barbados. My grandmother also happened to come from Barbados, but they met in Panama.
Oh, that's crazy.
And my grandmother was a seamstress,
Okay.
at least on my mother's side.
Right.
You know, there are two sides.
Yeah.
So, and then the other side, similar situation, also from Barbados, but also from the United States.
Okay.
So they also met in Panama as well because of the construction of the canal and
Right.
everything else. And that's on my father's side.
Okay.
And then my parents met in high school and got married, and 4 kids, 2 boys, 2 girls. I'm the third.
Okay.
Mom says she only wanted 2 kids. So being I was the third,
Double that.
exactly.
She's like,
So-
we had 3, might as well go to 4. We're just gonna double it."
Exactly. So she had to have another to even things out. So there are 2 boys and 2 girls. My older brother, my sister, skip a year, myself, and then my younger sister.
Oh, okay. That's I think that's cool. That's cute. So being that they went from Barbados to Panama, obviously looking at you, your skin color, especially in the eyes of the rest of society, deem it negative or positive, however you will, you're black. But if I were to ask you what your heritage is, what is your answer? So what is your
Latino.
heritage? Latino.
Latino.
Okay.
That's what I know.
Right.
I'm fluent in Spanish. I was fortunate enough to go to a bilingual school in Panama. We spoke English in the house. Had to speak Spanish outside. That is the national language.
Okay.
My dad worked for IBM, so they helped pay for school. Went to a private school, and it was interesting. What used to happen to help us learn language was maybe one semester you have math and Spanish.
Right.
Then the other semester you have math and English, or the next year or something
Right.
like that. So it was all kind of mixed. I was waiting to get Spanish and English and Spanish, but that never happened. But I mean, it just made things easier per
Right.
se. Speaking English in home, speaking Spanish outside. So I consider myself Latino, but of the black race.
So how does that how does that work internally with your identity? Because identity is something that we deem ourselves. So if you say you're a Latino, not that one's exclusive of the other, but if you say you're Latino but you're labeled as black, how have you had to, for lack of a better term, cope with that throughout your life? Have you just had to say I'm Latino but I look black? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. It's a struggle.
Yeah.
It's a struggle. How do I present this? It's only a struggle because society labels us.
Right.
For me, let's get this straight. I am not the type that says there's one race, there's a human race. No.
Right.
No. I do feel that we are human. I do think that we are individuals.
Mm-hmm.
We are different. We live a different life, that type of thing. I think the whole there's one race, a human race, is a convenient phrase for many. They will turn around and say that when they don't want to maybe have a conversation, or touch on a particular subject.
Right.
But
Definitely.
then they'll turn behind your back and separate you or segregate you.
Right.
There's so much that could be said about that struggle within me. I give you so many examples.
Okay.
And you know what I do
Right.
for work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an EMT. And I may go into a facility and someone is struggling speaking English, so I can tell they speak Spanish based on the accent, so I speak to them in Spanish.
Right.
and they'll respond to me in English. Broken English. It happens all the time. Or they'll ask me, I can easily distinguish where someone is from based on the next question. For instance, if you are very much north or close to this country without labeling a particular country, you would ask, how did you learn Spanish?
Right.
You know, because it's a shock to that group of people. But if you're further south, Central America, your question would be, oh man, where are you from?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's not uncommon for you to see someone of a different race speaking a different language. It seems like people within this country feel that the color of your skin or your appearance determines what language you should speak.
Along with many other things, but yes.
You know? So that's a struggle for me. I know you have many questions, but I'll tell you what happened.
No, go for it.
I'll tell you what happened Sunday.
Okay.
This recently happened.
Okay.
Wow. My daughter and I go to Denny's
Uh-huh.
to eat. We sit down. A young lady comes up. She asks, what would you like to drink? My daughter asks for apple juice in English. She asked me in English what I like to drink. I respond in Spanish, to bring me some tea, please. And she goes, oh, okay, no problem. Let me go see what I have, all in Spanish. So we begin to speak Spanish. She brings the tea. I thank her. I said, we're ready to order. She goes, oh, the waitress will be right with you. Well, we waited for the waitress. The waitress came. She went to the table in front of us first.
Okay.
She took their order in Spanish.
Okay.
No problem. One person chose to give the order in English. I'm paying attention. She responds in English, no problem. The next person in Spanish, so on and so forth, takes the order in Spanish, no problem. Comes to my table, asks, obviously in English. That's their first approach, and I understand why. What would you like? My daughter says she would like a crepe. She says, would you like one or two? My daughter says one, so I look at Nerina, that's my daughter's name, Nerina, and I said, Nerina, ordena dos, que me como uno.
Uh-huh.
Now that means, order two,
I
I'll eat
want
one.
Yeah.
And Nerina says, okay, two, please. And the lady says, do you want the combo or do you want, just the crepe? Nerina says she wants the combo. I'm sorry, just the crepe. So I said, ordena el combo porque yo me como lo demás, o como es el huevo. Because there's eggs and you can eat eggs and that kind of thing. And she goes, no, Dad, in Spanish. She goes, no, Dad, no quiero huevos hoy. She doesn't want any eggs. So fine, no problem. She comes to me. She asks me what I want. I begin to place my order in Spanish. She responds in English. I continue to speak Spanish. She responds in English. At this point, knowing me, I have to say something. But I figured, let me get my food first.
Very smart.
I
Very,
don't
very
want
smart.
anyone
Very smart.
doing anything to my food.
Right. I mean.
So food comes, hot plate, yada, 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 puts the food down. So I said, Señora, tengo una pregunta. I have a question. ¿Cómo sabe usted a quién hablarle en español y a quién no? How do you know who to speak to in Spanish and who not to? Her response in English was, I know my Latin people, and I know when they speak Spanish. So I say to her, I am in Spanish. I say, but I'm speaking to you in Spanish. Te estoy hablando en español y me estás contestando en inglés. So I said, I'm speaking to you in Spanish and you're responding to me in English. You insist to respond to me in English. And she says, again, I know my Latin people, and I know what they look like, and they look like me. And I know when they speak Spanish. So I say, so you are talking to me with your eyes? And she goes, yes, and walks away.
Oh my God.
She does not return to our table just to pause once to see if I wanted coffee to see, not to ask me if I wanted coffee, to see, because I had tea. But twice, she came to both tables in front and behind us and asked them if they're okay, anything else, so on and so forth. She never brought us a check. We got up. I saw the manager, asked for the manager's attention, spoke to the manager in Spanish, told him everything that happened. I was bothered by, needless to say,
Right.
by the comment. He apologized profusely. Sorry. I said, I can't come back. I can't come back. And honestly, I was going to leave her a penny tip, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to leave her any tip at all. But I can't come back to this Denny's. I'm sorry. And then he asked me where I'm from. And I told him I'm from Panama.
Mm-hmm.
And I left. My daughter was in the car at the time. I sent her to the car.
Yeah.
And I was so bothered by the whole thing. Even though I've dealt with this so many times.
It doesn't mean that just because you've dealt with somebody,
No.
something it should get easier, that you should have to tolerate it. I don't know why society thinks that it happened, get over it. No, that's not the way it works. Okay.
No, it works for them.
Well, yes,
You know,
absolutely. You're absolutely correct.
It works for them. It works for the person that is doing the damage.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely.
But it's a hard thing to deal with, and the reason I'm hesitating is because they expect for us to. When I say us, I'm not trying to separate a race of people. What I'm doing though is I'm separating a class at this
Right.
point. They expect, you, because I am leaving, and you're here.
Right.
They expect for you to just get over it, just deal with it, just deal with it. Man, this is. I was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the Navy, and we are sitting here today, 9/11.
Right.
And it's hard. It's hard.
Yes.
I served the country, even though I'm not from the country, and that type of thing. And I deal with people that, don't get me wrong, that have not done half of the things that I have done for this country, but still yet they look at me and say, I don't belong here. Like I haven't earned my right to be here. That's hard, man.
I can't even imagine how hard that is. Like, I haven't come close to speaking to somebody about that is from somewhere else that served here. I've only known people who are from here that have served here. And even afterwards, the way they've been treated and whatever, even after they've served the country and all that stuff, is not that great to begin with. So to hear that now it's basically like doubling down, because I'm already taking your shit for people labeling me as something that I'm not. Mm-hmm. On top of that, you're labeling me for something that I'm not and being racist. Mm-hmm. And now you're assuming what I deserve and don't deserve, but yet you have no idea what I did and didn't do.
They don't care. What you have done.
That's what's wrong with the world.
And I agree. What you have done, as long as it benefits them, that's all they care about.
Absolutely.
That's all they care about. And it seems like we are given just enough to validate us, to survive, just enough to say, here you go, I'm doing something for you. You keep doing for me. You keep fighting for the country. You keep purchasing. You keep doing whatever you do. But here, I'm going to give you a little bit. And I think that coupled with something else, and we'll get to that if you have a second, mm-hmm. Keeps us where they want us to be.
Right.
I ask this question of people. All the time I have similar conversations. I ask them, do you think if a particular race or group of people different than the white man was in charge, do you think things will be better? And most of them say yes, because they have the notion that, we as a group of black people or Hispanic people or something are not as bad as the white person or something. And my answer is always, no, it won't be, because greed is involved. You will do, once you're in power, you will do whatever you can to remain in power.
Exactly.
So if the black race is running things, greed will still be involved.
Right.
You know, so I don't think it'll be any different unless we come together as a group. You know, unless equality is a factor.
Right.
You know, so once you have everyone is equal, then it won't be as bad. But once you have some people up here trying to remain up here, and those down here, you know, don't matter what color.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter what Chinese, Japanese, Oriental, like Latino. It doesn't matter what color. You're gonna want to stay up.
I have not actually. I have not thought about that actually, and that is actually a really good point. And
That's the way I feel.
And I mean, it sucks to say, but that's how it is.
That's based.
That's the reality of right now.
Yeah. Well,
That's
it's been a
not how
reality.
it
It's been a
that's
reality forever.
Right. That's not
You know?
how it has to be,
No.
but that's what it is.
Yes, and you know, I am not extremely comfortable with that statement whenever I hear it. That's the way it is. I've said to myself for many years, whenever I hear that, that's what needs to change.
Right.
You know, if someone says to me, that's how it is, I always say that's what needs to change. It does not have to be that way.
Yeah.
You know, that not to go off topic, but you don't have to be a deadbeat dad. You know, you don't have to not take care of your kids. You don't have to call me a nigger. You don't have to, you know, those are the things that need to change.
Right.
You know, and we are able to change that. You know, we are going in the wrong directions as far as I'm concerned.
Right. And I think the other thing is that people don't, and I had a conversation with some friends about this yesterday, like people don't realize what the meaning of free will actually is. And it's like you have the freedom to make these choices. You have the freedom to break the cycle. We're not saying you have the freedom to overcome all the powerful figures by yourself, but there are small steps and small changes that you can make within yourself or your situation or whatever it is to do those things that should not be done, or change those things that you're doing that should not be done in the first place. And just the idea of free will is so foregone, and it's just everybody's just, oh, well, because I have access to information, I'm going to feed myself the information that I know feeds what I think I already know. It's just like, I say it all the time, I don't get it. And that's the problem. Make it make sense. When it makes sense, and when it seems like things are flowing, that's when they stop the cycle, because they're like, oh, they can't know everything. The cycle can't, you know, it can't run so smoothly, because if it does, then people are going to start getting along and there's equality and shit like that. Like,
Right.
They don't want that.
Right. And they don't. The equality issue, we as a race, we fight for equality. Those in control will never allow that to happen. They will never allow it to happen, in my opinion. You know, if they did, they will lose power. You
Right.
know? I mean, let's think about it. No,
Right,
no,
right,
really. You know what I mean? So if you are equal to me, then I am no greater than you.
Right.
You know? So I want to stay where I am, and you should stay where you are.
So why would I
You know?
make this equal, because I won't
Exactly.
be where I am?
But they talk a great game.
Right.
You know, and we are free. You know, going back to what you said, as far as freedom, you know, to change and everything else, you know, I feel that, unfortunately, we have, as a society, we have somewhat been programmed that a change will rarely happen unless we are in a position where it has to happen, unless we have had enough, unless we are against the wall, our back is against the wall. You know, no one wants to riot, I shouldn't say riot, no one wants to, huelga in Spanish. What's it called again when people
Protest?
walk out? No, when you walk out of your job.
Walk out protest?
Not a protest, but when you have a picket line and you walk out of your job, or
Oh, strike?
a strike, right. So really think about what we do at work, you know, and if we all walked out, the company doesn't have the ability to send any ambulances out.
Right.
So the next day, I promise you, the next day, we would have raises and we would have whatever we want. And then every other company would I don't want that shit to happen here. So let me give my people
Let
a
me
raise.
see if I can get ahead
know?
of this.
Exactly. But because we don't want to lose the little bit that we have to gain so much more, we don't want to strike. You know, we don't want to lose.
Nobody wants
that.
to, but sometimes you gotta fight.
But we're not there yet.
Well, I know.
We're not there.
It's that little atomic. It's like, I heard this yesterday. It's like that 1 degree between whether it's ice freezing or ice melting. And so as soon
Okay.
as it starts to melt, because that 1 degree change, that's when that change starts to happen. And if you don't get there, nothing happens. So if we're just standing here against the wall and we're teetering on that 1 degree until that thing pours over or starts melting, so to speak, nothing's going to
But we
happen.
know where we're going. We know where we're going to end up. Why do we have to wait for the temperature to change? You know, if we know that things are this bad, if we know that we are only making $10, $20 an hour, but the cost of living is going up by 10% or whatever it is every year, and you're not even getting a raise to accommodate that every year.
No, you're not.
You know, so or you know, whatever the case may be, we know where we are going in the wrong direction. Why can't we change it now?
That is a great question that I do not have the answer to. Do you have any?
I have insight.
I want to know because
I have insight.
as much as
Yeah.
I heard that example that I gave you about the 1 degree change, I mean, we could just fucking do it.
I think that we have been programmed somewhat.
Right.
You know, and I'm going to ruffle some feathers. This country leads in so many ways. This country is viewed by so many other countries as, you know, the top of the tier or whatever the case may be. So what this country does is deemed to be a good thing,
Right.
right? Okay. Knowing that, those that lead know that they can do whatever they can do. They know that they can do whatever they can do to benefit them. We are going to follow, and so is the rest of the world for the most part,
Right.
right? Give you some examples, and maybe not the greatest analogy, right? What the hell was wrong with tube television? Nothing. Nothing
I'm sorry.
was wrong.
But I was not expecting that.
Nothing was wrong with tube television. Nothing.
I mean, nothing was wrong with it.
Exactly. Nothing was wrong. So they gave us bigger and better and flatter and what? More expensive. More expensive.
It's
and
the consumer mindset.
Capitalism.
Right.
Capitalism
you to
is our
consume.
demise. Capitalism
You
is
know
taking,
what?
you know, so they do that, and we follow suit. We don't protest. We don't fight against it. I promise you. I promise you. If more than half of us do not consume gas, tomorrow, don't buy any gas at any gas station. The next day, the price of gas will be cut in half because they don't want to lose that much money. They're still gaining.
Right.
And that is the problem with capitalism. They're in control to do whatever they want to do, and we follow suit. We don't have to follow suit, but we are so trained to have the biggest, the greatest, the better. If not, someone is going to look at us and say, you are not successful, to the point where we have to go ahead and put ourselves in debt, and they make it easy, too.
They
There
make
you go.
it very easy.
$10,000 credit, even though your credit is shit. Go
mean-
spend this money for me.
He's not wrong.
You know? And we do that as stupidly, and we keep doing that.
Right.
And we are just going to the edge, and we're going to, I predict in two more generations, we are going to be down economically. I mean, crash. Not my daughters, not the next generation. When she has kids, this country, economically speaking, is going to be, if not before.
Damn.
I really feel that way because of just where we're going. I just covered the mic, so hey, I hope you heard.
No, you're fine.
You know? But as far as the insight that you're asking, you know, what do we need to do? I think maybe it's probably the most important question.
Right.
What do we need to do? A a lot of people talk about not coming together as a race. And again, I'm only speaking for black people.
Right.
You know, not coming together as a race and that type of thing, as the Jewish have done, and the Holocaust and everything else. And there's so many things.
Right.
So many problems, right? The problem, that is the bigger side of the problem. Yes, we should come together as a race. But it starts with us men, in my opinion. You know, our opinion, our thought or feelings or about ourselves as a black male, for most of us, we have so much of a struggle, you know, so much of
Right.
a struggle that we feel that we are weak. We're supposed to carry ourselves a certain way, you know, in order for people to see us a certain way. You know, if not, we are weak. You know, and that's not true. It's okay to cry. It's okay to say I can't do it. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to do certain things.
Right.
You know, but because of where we are as a black man and because of the struggle, if we were to ask for help, if we were to do something, we feel less than, and that's not true.
Right.
We should rely more on our women. We should sit down when they say to sit down and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. We need to do that.
Right.
We need to do that, you know. We need them, and we need others. That's what it takes to raise a village. Back
Right.
when I was a kid, walk down the street, we doing shit. The minute Miss Mary,
It wasn't even your parent, but you got.
Exactly.
I got.
Exactly.
I gotta get that.
you know, and
whatever
Miss
it is.
Mary could beat your ass.
Yeah.
You know, and you get home, and guess what gonna happen? You get
get
your ass
your
beat
ass beat
again. You know what I mean? And that was okay. You know.
That's just how. That's yeah.
But what happens nowadays? People walk right past it. Black, white, yellow, green, they walk right past the situation.
Oh,
You know,
I do not.
Well,
A
I'm
lot
gonna
of
tell
times people would be like, I
I'm gonna
wish she
reach.
would, but I do not.
I don't know where my water went, but it's okay. All right, good. Miss Mary coming. All right. So let me tell you. We're gonna go back to the racist thing, and what I mean by people walking past. Let me tell you what happened while working about 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay.
Patient in the back of the ambulance. I go to USC. Don't know where the burn center was. Patient was burned. I had to go to the burn center. I pull up at the front of USC, trying to get the security guard's attention. Hey, man, excuse me, man. You know where the burn center is? This guy that was kind of cutting across, he goes, nah, no fucking burn center, man. I go, nobody's talking to you, bro. I'm talking to the security guard. What? The fuck you mean, man?
Oh, boy.
And he starts off. The fuck you mean, man? I'm fucking talking. I said, man, excuse me, bro. This was all recorded, by the way, because you know we have
Yeah.
tape
Cameras
in
on
the
everything.
camera. Fucking nigga. I'm gonna kick your ass, motherfucker. Get the fuck out. Nigga, nigga, nigga. I was called a nigga 12 times. He came around the ambulance. He banged on the door. I almost jumped out, opened the door. I'm like, cool. Call me a nigga. The point I'm making with this is why people just walk past when something is happening. Nothing will change until we all get involved. No one said anything to this man. No, and the security guard, security.
I was like, where was the security
No.
guard?
I was talking to him about where the hell is the burn center.
He was right there when this whole thing was happening. He didn't say anything to this person.
Nothing. And this is common. This is but needless to say, if it was another race, in a similar situation, chances are, and I'm not saying 100%, but there's a greater chance of someone saying something. Hey man, what are you doing? Especially if it's a woman. You know, and rightfully so. You know, please don't let it be a white woman. You know, but besides that,
I'm sorry.
you know, no one gets involved in something that'll change the world. Everybody talks about it. Everybody says calling someone a nigger is not right. But when you see it happen, either you grab your phone, you keep walking, or you just stand there and watch. You know, but you never or rarely get involved and stop that person. But I'm expected to get out the ambulance and beat his ass and lose my job and my license to defend my pride.
Right.
It's a word. I got so many stories. I'm going to tell you why are we doing this. I'm going to tell you the first time the nigger thing happened. I came to this country in 1978.
Oh, good, because that was another question. So,
I arrived on the worst day of my life. Thanksgiving Day, 1978.
oh my God, why would you do that?
My mom said, pack your shit, we going, and we did.
Okay.
You know?
I mean,
So,
you got to do it.
I know what you meant, the
gotta do it.
rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Okay, so. Coming from 80-degree weather every day, the coldest I probably ever felt was probably 74 degrees.
Why are you here?
You know? That,
Go. Take me back.
I'm leaving on a jet plane
Right.
as soon as I can. Okay, so get off the plane, excited to come to the United States.
Yeah.
You know, get off the plane. They had me, 1978 now, they had me this long, full-length, brown plaid coat, wool, plaid coat, big squares, plaid coat, plaid, lines, boom, boom, boom,
Okay.
wool. That's exactly the look on my face. What the hell do I need this for? Soon as they opened the door.
Where'd
to
you
exit
land?
New York.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. New York, not California.
It's fucking
New York.
freezing.
No, okay. So you had the look on your face because you thought I came to California.
I didn't know where
No.
you went. I was like,
At New York, the look on my face was, what the hell do I need this ugly
Right,
ass
you don't
plaid?
know.
It don't even match my shorts.
Yeah.
You know?
He's
Hand me the
wearing
coat
shorts.
and shorts.
Yeah.
You know, I put on this coat. I'm like, whatever. I do what my parents say, my uncle, my aunt. You know what? I got the
fine.
coat open. You know what I mean? They open that door. Ah, shit! It's cold as hell. The worst day ever, man. I'll never forget that day, and I've wanted to run from New York ever since that day. I left after, by the way. That's why I'm here. Okay, so back to the story. Obviously, we have to go to school. I go to school. Within a week or two of being in school, you know you have to be tested. So I'm sitting down in the classroom, these two kids start bullying me.
Aw.
And then the word nigger comes out. Now, I've never heard this word. I have no idea what it means.
Because
I have,
everybody
no,
was...
I'm from Panama.
Right.
You know, there is an equality, you know, but it's class mostly.
Right.
It's really not racist. You know, either you are here or you're here, you're working your way or something, but
Right.
it's not, you know, there is racism, but it's mostly class and
It's classism more
Exactly.
so than racism. Yeah.
so and this word, nigga, you fucking nigga, you kick your ass, whatever,
like, what
man.
the hell?
But I don't know what they're saying.
You're like,
so,
I don't even know what that means. Okay.
So here comes two girls instigating the whole thing. Anthony, you can't have them talking to you that way.
Oh
Anthony,
my God.
you can't. And who am I gonna listen to? I'm gonna listen to the girls. You know, I'm just fresh in the country. I'm trying to get in. You know what I mean? So I'm like, you gotta go kick their ass. You can't have them talk to you that way. That blah blah blah, that kind of thing. I had no idea what the word nigger meant. No idea. No, didn't even affect me. You know, but these girls tell me I gotta fight.
So, how old were you at that point?
15.
So, because of the way things were in Panama, your parents had no reason to talk to you about
None.
your skin color or have
None.
those conversations about you being
None.
perceived as black.
No.
I want to make
No.
that clear for everybody because previously, or people that are from here that are black, that's a thing that happens is, you know,
No.
they have to have those conversations now. But you're 15, you don't know what that means because
No
it
idea.
wasn't a thing.
I mean, my name is Anthony Dwayne Clark. There's guys downstairs named Vicente Brown. You know, there are people named, you know,
it
I
wasn't
don't know,
yeah.
Ralph Rodriguez.
I was gonna say,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? So it's not
It
like
wasn't
your
a-
name, your color. That it's just we're there. We
Yeah.
all mixed. We're there. We're playing. Johnny, where's the ball? You know, let's go
Right.
play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So these girls.
So the girls. Girls say I gotta do. You know, I gotta get in. You know what I mean? So, you know, hey, we're gonna kick your ass after school. Blah 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 blah. No, not after school. After the class. Blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So I walk out. and I don't know how schools are built now, but back then you had a door and a wall, and there's a door here for the other class and the other door. So there's a wall. You walk out of that door, you're going to face a wall. You know, so I went to the wall and I turned around. One kid came on one side, one came on the other side. The fight began. I started kicking some ass. I really hurt one of the kids. I got suspended and they did. My mom lost her mind.
Yeah.
That was the first time, and I didn't know it then. I didn't realize I was dealing with racism until I grew up, way older.
Right.
You know, I had no idea. And so many things happened in school and while I was raised in this country, or, you know, after 15.
Right.
I graduated 1982. I got 4 awards. 1982, New York, Best Dress,
Oh boy.
Best Musician,
Oh God.
Best Singer, Most Popular Negro.
Oh my God. What?
Most Popular Negro. Yes.
That's a thing? Or
Eh,
was a thing?
No, it was not a thing. That's the kicker. It was not a thing.
They made that up for you?
They made it up.
What the fuck?
But
I
let me say this though.
even-
But well, let me
Not to say like you weren't popular. They couldn't have just said most popular. Like why?
They did say most popular. The white guy won most popular.
Oh, I mean, now I get it. But really?
But you know, this is the way I saw it many years later. Again, I had no realization of what's going on. I didn't realize racism hit me until I will probably say 15 years ago. I was so naive to the whole concept. I always thought somebody, you know, look at me funny or whatever, clutch their purse, or because I always try to dress nice, you know, or clutch their purses because, you know, that's what they do. It's not because I'm black. I honestly,
Really?
I was so naive. I could tell you so many things.
Wow.
Well, let me go back. Let me go back. Oh, you have no idea. I know. After now, I know that I've won. I won most popular. No, let me
But
tell
they
you
didn't
why.
want to give it to you because you were.
Exactly.
I already
exactly.
know.
Exactly. Because if I wasn't most popular, there wouldn't be a most popular Negro award.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Why would they have to do that?
If he was more popular, it would have been just one award. One.
Right.
Most popular. Anthony, you're second place. We don't do second place.
Right.
For you at least.
Yeah.
You know? But because you are more popular, and you also have 3 other awards, we gotta give you something, and then we gotta give the quarterback, blah blah blah
The
blah.
white quarterback.
You know, the award. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to move forward, as far as I was just saying that just a few years ago, I would probably say not even 15, maybe 5 years ago is when it probably hit, 5, 6 years ago, whatever it was. I went into a facility, and I'm going to make the long story just short. You know, we took a basketball player, used to play ball for the Spurs, took him to the facility. Changing linen, that kind of thing. I need to get new linen for the gurney. Go to the desk, front desk. Excuse me, can I have a sheet, please? What? What? I go, can I have a sheet, please? You need to go back to your room.
Excuse me?
Exactly.
What?
I say, excuse me? Yes, you need to go back to your room. I was
You
viewed
see-
as a patient. No, I had a uniform.
I know.
But you're
do
not seeing my uniform, you're seeing the color on my skin. You're seeing the fact that I was down in La Brea in Washington
Oh.
dropping off a patient, you know, so I'm black, and in that area, mostly of the patients are
Right.
probably black. And no offense to any particular group of people, but you know facilities are full of Filipinos,
Right.
you know. So, yeah, I need to go back to my room. A guy came rushing. You need to go back. I said, don't touch me, man. You better go. I said, do you know who I am? Do you know? Then he realized that I am actually an EMT, not a patient.
Dear God.
I walked outside, I vaped, and tears came out of my eyes. At that moment, I realized that I'm viewed differently. I mean, I may have thought about it, but it didn't hit me until that moment. Or maybe I didn't want to accept it.
Right.
You know, I was in the Navy. I've
It
done
could
a
have
lot of
been.
things. and,
Yeah.
you know, maybe I didn't want to accept it. So after that is when I started to think back of all the many, and there have been many times when people have been racially profiled.
Right.
Or even within the Latin community, as in the story I told you with the Spanish and everything else, even then, you know. So that struggle for me is not only real,
Right.
but it's really real with the language, difference in appearance, and black. What line do I stand in? I'm screwed. I'm fucked in either line.
Yeah.
You know? So, and you're interviewing and you're asking questions.
And that's a completely different struggle than somebody who's mixed with black and white. Because it's like, I could be lighter and want to stand in the white line, but I'm still going to be viewed different, especially if I have, you know, a certain hair type or, you know, certain features or whatever. But if I stand in the black line, I'm not black enough. So that struggle relates, but it's completely different at the same time.
But I'm not black enough because I'm not African American and I'm really Latino for the
Right.
black population. And for the Latino population, you know, I am, again, depends on
Who
the
you-
country.
right.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But in
Yeah.
Latin America, yes, I'm within that group. But here, closer to Mexican and El Salvador,
Right.
that kind of thing, they're like, no, you're not really Latino.
Yeah.
You know, so what is there a hybrid line?
Is there
You know?
is there another? So, I feel like maybe you know how you said you didn't want to accept it. I think you instead of maybe saying that, I think what a lot of people in mixed races do is they create their own line. Because what else are you going to do?
Why do we have lines to begin with?
Well, I mean, just as an analogy, I totally get that, and we do. But I'm just saying, like, you have to create your own path because it's not the same as either one.
Yeah, it
So-
makes sense.
I'm not saying we should or, you know, it should be deemed that way, but it should just be I'm mixed or I'm this or I'm that. Like, yeah, be proud to be what you are, but don't make that lead you to believe you're better or less than somebody else because they're something else.
Demographics is a hell of a drug. You know, um, you know, and maybe we should study that. Maybe next time we sit down, and not in front of the camera, but maybe we should have a conversation as far as the history of demographics.
Right.
You know, why was it created? And some people may say that it was created so that, you know, so that we can have a count. You know, so that
Why do
we
we need
know
a
who's
count?
around. But I don't think so. I'm thinking maybe it wasn't created because of that. Maybe it's created so that we could see how close we are to remain in power, or because obviously those in power created demographics.
Right.
You know, so who is around us, so we
Right.
know what we are dealing with.
I mean,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was talking to a buddy of mine. Wednesday, I buried a friend of ours
I'm sorry.
because of COVID.
I'm sorry.
44 years old. Mom left 3 kids and a husband behind. I was a sports director at the YMCA prior to all of this for 11 years, and I've met a lot of people, and she
Right.
helped me so much. And after that, I sat down with one of my friends, coach, and we sat down and had dinner. He works for Disney,
Okay.
public relations, nonprofit organization.
Okay.
And the point I'm making is that he was telling me how the new boss is, or the new CEO, excuse me, as opposed to
The one.
the one before and
Right.
those before. And now the mentality, he was saying, this is some of the things that they say
Oh,
to
boy.
feed us. He was telling me that the reason they are saying they raised the price, because you remember it was like $100 to go to Disney. You know,
Man,
now it's like
I wish it was
150 or
anything
something.
close to that.
You know, now it's crazy. It's ridiculous. Like
It's like
$150.
187
There you
or
go.
some
$200,
shit
guys.
like that.
$200 to go and hang out with Mickey and Minnie. I'm staying home.
You are,
You know?
but those of us who have kids, we get nagged all the time. I want to go to Disneyland. Da, 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 da.
Go sit down and draw Mickey Mouse. You know, Narina's been to Disneyland once. That's gonna be it. You know, but back to
So
my
you can
buddy.
pay for it yourself.
Not even. You know?
He says no.
Don't
You're not
give me
spending
the
your money
money.
on that.
So he told me that the current propaganda slogan, whatever it may be, why they raised the price, is they're saying to allow less people in.
Right.
And the opportunity for those that don't live in California to be able to attend. So they're saying, I'm trying to make sense of it. What they're saying is, we raise the price so less people can be in the park so you can have a better experience. Why not just cut the amount of people entering the park to begin with and charge them the $80 or whatever it was you were charging before? No, what they do is they sit down and they go, we're going to raise the price. What can we tell them?
And it's so crazy because we were just having this conversation yesterday about when we want to do something, we figure out what information we're going to feed them so that they believe this. Whatever this is, we have to figure out the route to that.
Right
that
or
makes
wrong,
everybody just follow it without
Right
saying,
or
why
wrong?
did they do that?
See?
Oh, yeah, right or wrong.
Right or wrong?
Yeah.
No, instead of saying what's right for the people, what's the right thing to do, we are saying let's line our pocket or let's do some fucked up shit and let's say what we have to say for them to keep, following suit.
Mm-hmm.
That's where our society has changed and going in the wrong direction.
Right.
We need to flip that, man.
Mm-hmm.
We need to so flip that. Start doing the right thing, whether we like it or not. But we're not doing that.
Right.
We're not doing that.
Yeah. So when it came to history, whether it's your family history or history at school, so since you were in Panama until you were, 15? What kind of history did you learn? Because, and I am ashamed on some level to say this, but I didn't know you enough to know that you actually were not black.
I am black.
You know what I mean. Like,
Let's clarify that, though. Wait,
that
hold on.
you're from Panama, you consider yourself Latino, and
This is what I learned. And I had this conversation with people so many times, and it's frustrating. This is what I learned. Right or wrong, there are 5 races. That's what I learned.
okay,
Right? You have your black, your white, your yellow, and what did I say? Black, your white, your yellow, your red, and then you have the people from like Polynesian islands and that type of thing. Right? 5
Okay.
races. Everything else is a mixture of.
mm-hmm.
Believe
Okay.
it or not. Accept it.
Okay.
Italian is not a race. Filipino is not a race. Those are cultures. Those are nationalities, actually.
I feel personally attacked because I am Italian.
Well,
but that's fine. I'm just
I mean,
just fucking with you.
if people ask you what race are you, and you say Italian, that's a country.
Right.
That's a nationality. But it's so we just want to separate ourselves so much. Whites don't want to be considered what a bad white is, so they say I am American or Italian American, or I'm Jewish,
Right.
or those are not races.
Right.
So back to what you were going with the whole, race
Right.
and history and stuff. That's what I learned, and your question was
What type of history did you learn? Because
not racist, not slavery and racism.
No.
If that's what you're asking, no.
No, that and the usual stuff in school, like the Malcolm X and the Martin
No.
Luther King and stuff like that.
No.
So I wanted to know the difference between basically what we were told here and what black families born and raised in the U.S. had to teach their kids about their black history and where they came from and all the struggles and all that in comparison to the history that you may have learned, whether that was from your family or from going to school in Panama. So that would be,
It's history was more world oriented. And of course, we touched on things like, Cristobal Colon or Christopher Columbus, that type of thing. But it was more, he took people from Africa, traveled through here,
they ended up,
and they ended up over there, and people were mistreated, or that kind of thing. And the United States is great,
wow.
It wasn't detailed. You hear certain things,
Right.
but it was mostly world history. I learned a lot of, things that happened around the world, more so than a focus on race. And even now here, or even then in this country, they don't teach enough of what they want to hide it. What's the recent thing that they talked about? Not cancel culture, but the 1619 Project. They're saying not to teach that stuff because it gives the country a bad light. Well, shit, you that's what you did.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying.
That's
But
what
it
you
happened.
did.
Like,
But the good shit, let's teach that.
But don't forget that. You got to put that in there.
Let's put that up. Let's put the statues up. Let's say we build a great country and equal for people and everything else, but we don't want to talk about the abuse. We don't. So back to your question, the history, not much of it at all.
Critical race theory?
No.
Yeah, no, not a thing.
And it's still a struggle for many nowadays, and they probably are not going to implement most of it. Or much of it.
Of course not. Especially all the stuff we've gone through in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. That is going to be a paragraph in the little history book, if even that.
You think?
Yeah. You think they're going to say people were protesting and da-da-da-da? No, they're not going to tell them that. We don't want to give you any ideas, so we can't tell you that. Can't do that. You can't know about that. Like, why would, no. They're
Some
not.
people blame a lot of what happened in the last 4 or 5 years or so on Obama.
I have heard that, but I don't know why.
It's easy.
Because
it's
he's
easy
the
why.
black guy that they decided that they were going to blame?
No, because he's a black guy. Not that they decided they were going to blame.
But because
he's just a black president. And the first black president is not normal. Some people even think that he was allowed to be president, that it was they wanted him there. They didn't want him there. There was no way, in my opinion, this is just a non-American giving an outside opinion coming in. There is no way, coming from the military and everything else, there is no way that they expected a black man to be a decorated POW senator, officer from the military. There is no way. That's why he ran against McCain.
Right.
No, there is no way that they sat down and go, okay, let's let the black man win.
There's no way. I don't buy that either.
I don't either.
I don't buy that
so
at all.
he won. He won. Why? In my opinion, Democrats do not go out and vote. There are more Democrats registered in this country than Republicans.
Right.
So if Democrats voted, you will never have a Republican in a position of power.
But they have to actually vote in order for that to even make a difference.
And there's a lot of things, voter suppression, and a lot of things that happen, and not getting into that.
Yeah.
But he won because people said, this is the first, this is historically speaking, and a Pulitzer Prize, and all that stuff that came after.
Right.
Pulitzer Prize, I think is how it's
Yeah.
But whatever the case is, right?
You're right.
My English no good.
You're right.
So,
You're right.
It's fine. So he won because people felt that there's an opportunity that there's someone there for us, that there's someone that's going to do something for us. I have news, and I felt this. I said, I have news for you, man. You know,
They're not going to
It's-
let him do anything.
right? And not only that, what do you expect them to do? Do you expect them to go in there and go, okay?
Everybody's
That-
equal.
yeah,
Like, what?
exactly.
How does that work?
You
It
know what I
doesn't
mean?
work like
Or
that.
I'm gonna hook all the black people up. Make a line right here. Stand up, bro. Don't even worry about it. You ain't got no more food stamp, no nothing. Here's a couple million. Sit down, cool out. School free. Don't worry about it. White man, you don't get nothing else no more. You get everything. No, it's not
Yeah.
happening.
No.
And even white people. I had a conversation once before. And someone said that. Why didn't they do something more for you all white black people? I said, so basically what you're saying is that you expected the white president, all 44 of them before, to do only shit
For
the
you?
white people.
Yeah.
And that's the mentality. If you really think about it,
Yeah.
that's been the mentality. If not, that would not be said. You know, he's the president of the United States, of all of us. You know, but the 43 before, were they really the president for all of us?
Really?
Really?
Were they?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I do.
So there, here comes, and that's why Trump won, in my opinion. Trump won because they ruffling feathers, because they had to reestablish power. They had
Right.
to reestablish supremacy.
Right.
You know, I don't care who. It could have been a white chicken. He would have won.
As long as he was white.
Exactly.
Get a black chicken
You
in
know.
there, it's over. It had to be white.
They
Like,
lost
what
ground.
were you gonna do?
So we had to reestablish. Sorry. So we
No,
had
okay.
to reestablish ground. We had to we had to regain
Right.
ground. You know.
Yeah.
So not a white woman. There's no way a white woman
No
or any woman for
chance.
that matter is going to follow a black man. We have to put white back, make America white again.
We thought that was our chance because there was a black man in there. The women were like, you know what? Maybe we can do
Yeah.
this.
And it would have been. It would have.
If it
been.
wasn't.
that email stuff didn't even. It don't
No,
matter.
I don't think that mattered.
It
was
could have been
just the-
anything, any scandal.
Right.
Oh, Hillary dies are here. Oh my God, no, we cannot have. I swear, no, that's what I
A
think.
white redheaded president.
Thank you.
Like,
It's not happening. You're fake. You're fake. You're blonde, but you're dying and brown. You're fake. We cannot have a white fake person, ladies and gentlemen. It could have been any scandal.
It would have. Yeah.
And that's all they needed.
Yeah.
One thing. Are you seriously telling me that all the people before her never had a server in their house? Really? Is this the first
Right.
person that? No.
You mean all those presidents prior to like the 40,
And
the
state-
30th and the 40th
exactly.
didn't have servants
And
and
head of
stuff in their house?
state and vice president.
Come
no,
on.
You see
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just they needed something, they got something, and America was great again.
Was it?
Oh, well, yeah, many think it is.
So, when it comes to your daughter and younger generations, do you talk to your daughter now about, like, I don't know, I can't picture it in my head. Is she of darker complexion like yourself?
No.
Is she?
She
That-
is mixed. She is lighter than I am, straight hair like yours.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom is Mexican.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that.
So do you think she'll have to worry about, aside from, because she speaks Spanish, obviously, right? Because you mentioned that you were do you think that she'll have to deal with some of the labels that you have had to deal with as well?
I hope not. I hope that what we saw during the Floyd era and where people were going out to protest and Black Lives Matter and that kind of thing, I hope that continues to where we begin to cut layers away
Right.
from, that. It's going to be hard for her. I got pulled over. Another quick story. I got pulled over, I think it was 2 years ago, taking her to school, right before COVID. Crossed double yellow line into the, what's it called? The lane where you have two or more people traveling after. I'm getting old.
Carpooling?
Thank you for having me.
I was
Into the
like,
carpool lane.
Yeah.
You know? And so the cop pulls me over, talking to him, ask him to give me a break. Said no, gives me a ticket. Drive off. My daughter starts to cry. So I said, Narina, why are you crying? She goes, I thought the cop was going to kill you.
Oh.
You know, that was tough.
Yeah.
And she was 9 at the time. A 9-year-old girl already knows or already thinks that she and people that look like her or like her dad should fear the police because they can harm them. You know, that should answer your question as far as the struggle that she may confront because of the color of her skin later.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I try to talk to her about that, but I try not to focus on it. I'm not militant.
Right.
I'm not going to be black power, everything
Mhm.
else. Nor am I going to be equality for everyone. That kind
I'm
of
not
not
gonna
going to do
sugarcoat it
that
for her.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm going to tell you that if you stand your ground, if you do certain things, if you present yourself a certain way, and not tolerate anybody from treating you X way, men,
Right.
women, whatever it is,
Right.
you're gonna be fine. You know, and that's kind of my belief. You know, granted, there are going to be people out there that are going to look at you and, you know, you're black and they're going to want to treat you a certain way, but don't tolerate that. But don't expect them to treat you either black or not black.
Mhm.
Expect them to treat you as a woman.
Right.
You know, with respect and dignity. Carry yourself that way. So that's kind of what I, and I told the same thing to my son. You know, I feel that there's disparity in how we raise a boy and a girl.
Right.
Regardless of color. We tell the little boy comes up to you and he goes, I got a girlfriend. You know, 5 years old, 6 years old. What do you say? Oh,
And you're like, oh,
that's
what's her
cool.
name?
What's up, man? That's all right. She cute. You like it? She cool. All right. Little girl said, I got a boyfriend. Like,
Oh, no, you don't.
Close your legs. What's wrong with you? No boy, don't bring no boy here. That's not right. You need
Right.
to tell them both. You know, stay in the books. No boyfriend, no girlfriend. You know, let's. You know, if not, what do you have? If you keep doing that,
You
little
keep
boy,
it like this.
you know, and then what the little boy's gonna do? They're gonna try to find the little girls. They'll find
Yeah.
the little girls, and then
Yep.
you know what I mean. And then we know what happens.
Right.
But if we tell the little boys, you know, stay away from the little girls, stick to school, go to college, be a man. Little girl, forget the little boys. Little girl, go to college, be a lady. You know, then society will probably be moving in a better direction.
Right.
You know, so I don't know.
Yeah. So with all this stuff going on for the younger generations, I mean, you pretty much have already said it, but what are the things that you want to see them accomplish? Obviously, more of the equality aspect, but like, is there anything more specific, or is that just the general?
Put your phone down.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
Aside from that, and aside from, you know, viewing us as equal and everything else,
Mhm.
we need to have the mentality of, this is our planet, this is our world. Just because you may think that things may be expendable, you know, just because you think there are other planets out there, doesn't mean you got to ruin this one.
Right.
You know, because there's a chance of you going someplace else. I think that mentality is ruining us as a whole. You know, it's everything is disposable.
Consumable, disposable, all that stuff.
There you
right?
go. You know what I mean? It's like you can make so much money. Just when I say you, us, we can make so much money if we're smart enough to buy stuff that people don't want. Fix it, sell it, because people, oh, my computer is slow, I need a new one. But they did not read the manual that said, you know, you got to whatever it is, defrag the stuff every so often, that kind of thing, and clean out this. What do you think? You just keep putting stuff in it, pizza, you know, and then it's just going to keep working fine? You know, but that's the mentality of people. It's just disposable. You know, next, I'm going to buy another one. What that does to us and to the world and to this society, it just keeps us moving.
Right.
It just keeps us buying. It just keeps us consuming. It just keeps us, and that's what they want. We need to stop that. You know, we need to just take care of what we have, value what we have. This is not disposable. You know, if the more value that we place on what we have, I think it'll just improve our quality of life, as opposed to just living at that quick moment in that quick second.
I think that's a huge difference from years past when they were focused on what they had versus what they could have. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, like, lately, I've noticed a lot of that. I was raised by my grandparents, so I saw, well, this is what we have. We worked really hard for what we have. We're happy for what we have. We're not longing for what we don't have. And that's where I think a lot of the unhappiness and the mental health issues that people are so focused on things you don't have or things you know, I mean, there's goals and stuff that you want to accomplish, and I consider that kind of separate from wanting material things or, you know, so I think it's like skipped, and I'm hoping it's going back in that direction so it comes around full circle. I am wishful thinking.
Very much so.
I know.
Very much so. And if there was a switch that we can hit, or we can hold their hand and turn them around, but let's be honest, we as the adults are practicing what we don't want them to do, what we just talked about.
Right.
You know, so as long as we keep doing the same thing, you know, they're going to do that as well. And more of it.
You can't tell somebody, do as I say, not as I do. It
Not
doesn't
anymore.
work like that.
Not because we can't beat our kids. Back in the day, you know.
I wasn't expecting
we can,
him
no,
to say
hey,
that.
come on, hear me out. Back
I
in the
got
day,
my ass whooped.
Yeah,
I don't.
thank you.
I can't
on
say
a
anything.
regular.
I got my ass whooped for shit I didn't do because I let my brother do it.
That ain't even it. I got beat before I did shit.
We
You know
know
what I
you're
mean?
gonna do this.
Yes, so here you go. But my dad, I'm gonna tell you. Ooh, you just starting shit. All right, so I told you my dad worked for IBM,
Right.
right? Not too many people had cars.
Mhm.
You know, my dad had a car. No problem. Suit, tie, all that stuff. Right?
Yeah.
I was so bad. How bad were you?
Oh my God, you really went there. But
I
anyways.
was so bad. My mom, I mean, I got beat so many times. Nonetheless, my mom would literally, and this is no joke, tie me to the balcony. There'll be a stool. I would sit. There was a, rail, whatever, the balcony, and I tied to the balcony. I had to sit there. I was on display because I was so bad.
Oh, I see.
Then I come home. What'd you do?
Why are you sitting there? What did you do?
Marie, why you use my tie? That was the thing. I was so bad, it wasn't even, oh my God, take it, but why the hell you use my tie to tie him up? Tie his ass up. It's okay. Don't be using my damn ties. You know what I mean? It's like,
Sorry.
hey, you can laugh all you want. There's so many, but times have changed. We don't get disciplined the same way. We are so forgiving, and we should be. Don't get me wrong. There was abuse. There were a lot of things that happened back then that were considered abuse.
Yes.
There's a fine line.
There is.
You know what I mean? You get a kid with a switch, a little belt, whatever. You start throwing hammers and shit.
It may have crossed the line at that point.
A little bit. Just make sure the hammer hit him below the waist and you're good. You know what I mean?
Cover it up with, just make more pants.
A couple of glass or whatever have you, bottles.
Yeah.
It's cool. Just don't hit him in the head. But teachers, I don't know if back in your day, but teachers used to hit us with rulers and stuff. But there's no discipline. It's verbal. It's not working. More so, there's no consequence to our actions. You know, and I personally think that it started with the whole "no kids left behind" mentality.
Right.
You know, if I didn't do good in school, I failed.
Oh my God.
I didn't go to the next grade. You know, I didn't. I had to repeat the grade.
They don't do that
Nowadays,
anymore.
you got 12th graders doing, sixth grade math and still graduating.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
You know, but that's the reality of it. So no kid is left behind. Why? Because it's, in my opinion, because it's financial.
Right.
You know, we need more money in schools, which we all know that there's more than enough money to go around. You know, but no kid left behind. Therefore, we get more money. Therefore, we can, but it's not helping. It's not. Some of these kids can't even add 2 digits,
Right.
let alone 3, or multiply, or append them and things like that. They have no idea what certain things are, because they're given a little phone or a calculator that can do that for them. But the brain is deteriorating, so how are we going to get better? We're not,
Yeah.
you know?
I think consequences is a
So
huge
beat
thing.
your kids!
I think consequences is a huge thing, and I started that actually not that long ago with my daughter because, she's in middle school now. She's going to go through puberty soon, and it's showing, and she's getting a little attitude. And I said, okay, well, now she'll do something, and I'll be like, what are the consequences?
Mm-hmm.
And she has to stop and think, okay, if I do this or if I keep doing this, what's going to happen? And 99% of the time now she knows and she'll stop. But I should have started that long ass time ago, but I didn't think about that until, So that's my way of not beating my child. I just tell her, what are the consequences for this? And she knows her list of consequences and things that she either will get taken away or she won't get to do or whatever it is. So, I mean.
I have mine create her own punishment.
Yeah.
So what do you think would be, and I've been doing that lately, what do you think would be, I want you to think about a punishment based on what you did, and obviously she comes back with, okay, I can't watch TV for 2 hours. I'm like, no, I need a punishment. That's a nap. You know what I mean?
You can take a nap and your punishment
Yeah,
is
you know
over.
what I
That's
mean?
not going to work here.
I can't watch TV a couple hours. That means you just took a nap. That's not it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I need something substantial.
Yeah.
And by her, in my opinion, by her creating her own punishment, she realizes that, I did something, and there is, in fact, a consequence based on what I did. And hopefully, she'll begin to think first and go, okay, that is going to
If I
ask me
do
for
this,
punishment.
this
That,
is not
you know
going
what
to
I
be
mean?
good. Yeah.
So that's the idea.
Okay, is there anything, before I get into the last part where we're going to talk about your business, is there anything you want to add, mention, wish that I had asked that you want to say something about?
There's the whole racial thing, inequality, injustice, all of that can never be covered in an interview, no matter how long it is.
Right.
We need to do better. We, and I'm not outlining any race or group of people. We need to do better. I've spoken to racist people. I've sat down and talked to racist people. I have no fear of that. I sat down and talked to people with different religions and that type of thing. I'm not saying that I get up and I go shake hands and everything else, but no, not necessarily. But I don't have a fear.
Right.
And if I can face whatever's in front of me, that minimizes any thought of fear or anything like that. And when I say I don't have a fear, let me rephrase that. I don't enter things with a fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm an open book.
Mm-hmm.
I expect others to be an open book as well, and they're not. And that's what I mean by we need to do better. Let's not hide ourselves anymore.
Right.
You know, I don't know if I'm making sense.
Nobody should have to.
You know, but
Yeah.
we feel we need to because we're judged.
Right.
And that's left for the next interview. You know?
Exactly.
But, you know, if
But
we
yeah.
stop, if we do better, just do better. We know right from wrong.
That's what I say.
You know, just do that.
Yeah.
You know, and I think we'll be in a better place.
Okay. Well, usually I ask somebody to highlight a minority-owned small business, organization, whatever it is, but you have your own.
Yes, I
It's
do.
called My Brother's Bracelet.
Yes, it is.
So what is it about, and what does it entail? Where did the
My
idea come
Brother's-
from? Does the business name have any significance? Stuff like that.
Absolutely. The history behind My Brother's Bracelet. If I'm not mistaken, it was December of 18.
Mm-hmm.
That is 2018, by the way, not 1918. I'm just saying. I'm just letting you all know. You know, 2018, my brother decides to take his wife to Hawaii.
Okay.
Comes back, sends a package, as they all do. They always send things for Nerina,
Right.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
She opens it up, bunch of stuff, and this and that, and da-da-da, and here's a bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
Puts on the bracelet, falls off her hand, it's too big. It's okay. I'll figure it out. Call your uncle, thank him for everything. She calls her uncle, hi, Tio, you know, thank you, da-da-da-da, but the bracelet is too big. He goes, it's not for you, it's for your brother. I'm sorry, not for you, for your dad.
Uh-huh.
Excitement kicks in. I got something.
I got some
You
too!
know, I got something. Out of
Yeah.
a big box of shit, I get something. I wore that bracelet all the time, every day, work, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Went to work one day, had a patient, took off the gown, lost the bracelet.
Aw.
Tried to replace it, went to Macy's, went everywhere, didn't find anything. I started looking at those bracelets. I'm going, I can make this.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured out where to buy the stuff, made the stuff. A girl asked me to go out and meet her. I went in and met her. I made a bracelet. I went out and met her. And then she goes, what's that on your hand? It's a bracelet. Put it on her wrist so she can see and never got it back. You know?
Stolen.
First bracelet I made. No, she didn't steal it. She straight ganked me. She's like, I'm taking this bracelet. And what do? You know,
You got it.
You know how it is. You know how it is. Don't smile too much, though. I know how you all do. You know? So
Especially with hoodies, and y'all know exactly what I'm talking about out there. But anyways.
hoodies and bracelets. So never saw the bracelet again.
Mm-hmm.
Made a couple more. Started selling them at work, and people at work, and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And November of 19, on my birthday, I decided to publish a website.
Okay.
After talking to many people and them mocking up websites and it didn't look,
How you want it, yeah.
I just sat down and I just went on Shopify and created my own website, how I wanted it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been going ever since. So I named the company My Brother's Bracelet
Mm-hmm.
because it was my brother's bracelet
Right.
that I lost.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it. I use natural stones. There's no plastic. There's no that, and I use natural metal, silver and gold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, gold covered, plated,
Gold, yeah.
silver. Maybe a little stainless steel, but I try to stay away from that.
Right.
But I try to put forward the best product I can for men mostly.
Right.
Even though I've done some small women bracelets, but mostly
Mhm.
for men. Why? Because you get online and your ladies have everything. You have the entire internet covered consumer-wise for you.
Yeah.
You know, men bracelet, we have
Because
to wear.
we do all the shopping.
We have to buy what what you don't want.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of stuff. You know, so my focus is mostly for men.
For men.
Mostly
Yeah.
for men, even though I have catered to women. But there's nothing for women on my breast. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was going to say there's nothing for women on my website. Yes, there is. There's something for women to buy your man
There
on
you
my
go.
website.
There you go.
You know?
Yes.
So that's my brother's
Okay, well,
person.
that's fantastic. I didn't know that that was the whole story behind that. So, but I don't have anything. I think you got your final thoughts out and everything. So, thank you so much for being here. All the
pleasure.
information for his website and the bracelets and all that good stuff will be in the description box, as well as the post when I post it on social media. So you'll get that. You'll get tagged. The business will get tagged. Everything will be in there. But right now, that's all I have. So I want to thank y'all for joining me on this another episode of Transforming the Truth. Don't forget, like he said, do better. Like I say always, just be a kind human, and we will go ahead and see you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.